it's cool how, one person committing to a certain diet or lifestyle and how that can impact, your family members, your friends, that sort of thing. I know that I feel a great deal better physically, mentally, all that sort of stuff now than I did, 5-6 years ago. So that's enough for me.
Hey winners, and welcome to episode 318 of the supersetyourlife.com podcast. I am your host, Coach Colt, IPL pro bodybuilder and competition prep coach, proud husband and father to a household of carnivores, and bass player for the background music that you are listening to. If you are someone who works out for aesthetics, then you are probably familiar with the term superset, in which you pair together specific weight training exercises that give your training experience and by extension your physique a synergistic effect. This show is where we channel that same kind of synergy into the more important areas of life, mainly faith, family, fitness, because we are all made up of a body, a soul, and a spirit. Brayden Branham is the founder and CEO of CARNIVORE, an all-American badass meat cutting board with a pretty awesome story behind it. A good friend and client of mine sent this 10-pound monster that's great for my 1 meal per day feast that I typically eat on the Lion diet. It's big enough for serving roasts and barbecues and all kinds of cool stuff for your whole family too. So I've only had it for a few days and had a quick chat with Mr. Branham on the phone about the inspiration behind the board, best ways to use it, and how to get the most out of an ancestral way of living too. Because from what I understand, he follows a pretty strict carnivore diet. So check out their website, the.carnivorecutie.com, just like it sounds. Don't forget the THE before it. Want to send you to the right website. So thecarnivorecutie.com. Their mission statement pretty much sums it up pretty well. At CARNIBOARD, we have made it our mission to put a quality, affordable, American-made cutting board in every meat-loving home, which includes this house for sure, across the nation. We know that CARNIBOARD can become a key part of every red-blooded American's daily meat routine and help them stay on track with improving their health. Mr. Branham, welcome to the supersetyourlife.com podcast.
Absolutely, man. Happy to be here.
For sure, man. So, what do you eat in a typical day then? Pretty much red meat, water, salt, and then a few exceptions here and there. I had a keto brick last night, first thing all year otherwise. But, what's your diet look like? Is it kind of similar to that? Or?
Very, very similar. So,
cool.
Today I'll eat probably between 1 and 3 o'clock. That's normally kind of the time that I give myself for a feeding window. So I normally eat once a day. And I'll probably have somewhere around 3 pounds of red meat. Normally ribeyes is what I prefer. So.
Wow, that's shocking. We're actually so similar because that's pretty much how much meat I'm packing away too. I've been supplementing fats with duck fat, coconut oil, keto bricks. I just introduced keto bricks, and so it's been a pretty strict Lion diet. But that's really cool, man. What brought you to an ancestral way of living and eating?
Yeah, so I've obviously kind of learned about this, I think a lot of people have, via the Joe Rogan podcast and Dr. Sean Baker and some of the other big, carnivore influencers or carnivore celebrities that are out there, like Anthony Shafee and stuff like that. So meat has always been a very big part of my lifestyle. It's always been, steak's always probably been my favorite food. And I'm actually half Korean, so if you look in Korean culture, beef is very prevalent in our diet as well.
Yeah.
So just, learning about the carnivore diet and stuff and kind of reading about some of the benefits and hearing so many people talk about, performance benefit is really what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I discovered the carnivore diet and kind of committed to going to it, I had already kind of sorted out a lot of other stuff as far as health and fitness. I was already eating a really whole foods diet. I had a ton of rice, vegetables, and then, of course, meat and protein, whether it be chicken or beef and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that, hey, the carnivore diet, so many people are talking about all these benefits, talking about how great they feel, talking about improved gut health, which is something that I struggled with in the past, mental clarity, all this sort of stuff. I was like, this sounds awesome. And I absolutely love beef, so why not give it a try? So
Right.
I think I started the carnivore diet in 2020, like sometime around the middle of 2020, and really just haven't looked back since.
We have pretty much the same carniversary. Yeah, I was keto immediately after my last bodybuilding show that I did for WNBF. That was in 2019. That was pretty much a paleo hybrid diet, and so most of my carbs were sweet potatoes. And then I just realized that when my coach had me do my keto days where I was depleting carbs, that I felt a lot better. I had a troll on Instagram this morning say that I don't know what I'm talking about because try training legs without carbs, he said. And I'm like, man, that was what made me want to go keto in the first place, because I felt way better on leg day specifically with no carbs in my diet and just training fasted. And so since I didn't really understand the importance of getting all the vegetables out of my diet though until about 3 years ago. So I've been mainly carnivore, but a lot more strict these last couple of years. So that's really exciting, man. Do you ever plan on changing, or like, is this like a fad, or is this like something that you're?
I can't imagine a world where I would go back to eating a standard American diet or anything even close to it. So, I mean, yeah.
Cool. So you eat one meal a day. Why? Like, are you trying to get the most out of intermittent fasting, or is that just like how you naturally feel like eating is just one giant meal a day? Because I kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, so I've played around, quite a bit with meal timing over the last 4 years or so. I've never been a breakfast person, for example. So, even 10 years ago, the most amount of food that I would eat, or the most amount of meals I would eat in a day is basically 2.
Yeah.
So I've definitely, done lunch and dinner on the carnivore diet, just dinner, maybe eating like between 7 and even 9 o'clock. And, most recently I've found that kind of that 1 to 3 window works pretty well for me. It gives me, the time to kind of tackle the tasks that I need to do throughout the day fasted, which is really when I feel the best.
Yeah.
And then I train in the mornings normally. And then, like I said, I'll have that big meal, and I guess efficiency is a part of it as well. It takes me probably 12 minutes to 15 minutes to eat, and then I just don't have to think about food for the rest of the day. And then, having that all wrapped up by 3 o'clock or so gives me plenty of time for my food to digest so that I can get a good night's rest.
Yeah. You're running a large company, and so my coach, he eats one meal a day, and mostly raw. We don't put I don't like taking time out of my day that I really don't have to cook meat, make it cook nutrients out, and then not have the bioavailability that it would have had otherwise. And in my opinion, at this point, I just kind of prefer the taste of raw or very undercooked meat at this point. And so I've kind of gravitated towards one meal a day like that. I think it's a very sustainable, very healthy lifestyle for people that are fast paced and just don't have the time to eat 5 meals throughout the day.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I appreciate, you saying that I'm running a very large company, but I'm not. So this is, kind of a small,
bro. I brought my band over here so that it's too far away. I can't reach it. But it's a large company, man, because this thing's 10 pounds. This thing's heavy.
No doubt, man. Well, I started this whole thing just
our video
like
listeners,
a passion product, or a passion project on the side. It's something that that I do, for fun alongside my my standard day job. So
yeah. Cool. Well, so your workouts then, like, are you a strength athlete, a hypertrophy athlete?
Yeah, I mean, I try, to be a very well-rounded individual in terms of fitness. Mm-hmm. So the main thing that I focus on is just being capable of doing, pretty much everything. So I do a lot of, conditioning work via burpees or, sprint intervals, things like this. I do a lot of strength work, but a lot of it's like more unconventional type stuff with sandbags, or you're probably familiar with the landmine.
Yep.
So I follow, these guys called Landmine University, and they've basically got variations of all of the Olympic style lifts, split, like snatches, cleans, jerks, things like that. And then I do a lot of calisthenics and whatnot as well. But I mean, I've got a full home gym here in my garage, so it's something
Wow.
that I've pretty heavily invested in.
Cool. Your workouts better, worse since cutting carbs out?
I would say better for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's your pre-workout? You have any carbs or anything pre-workout? Exogenous, ketones, salt?
So I start my day normally with 2 liters of water, and I use a supplement called Boulder Salt. For the longest time, I was using LMNT.
Yep.
You're familiar with LMNT, like the raw flavored one. But then I discovered this, the supplement called Boulder Salt, which has a couple other, minerals and stuff like that, and it's also a lot more affordable. So that's what I switched over to. Nice. So I'll normally have 2 liters of water and 3 servings of this Boulder Salt, which is a pretty potent dose of sodium and electrolytes and magnesium and bicarbonate and all the other various stuff that's in it. So
cool, awesome. No citrulline or anything else. That's like pretty straight up, pretty natural, man. I guess last question I have is creatine. Do you believe in supplementing creatine or not? If you're on such a high red meat diet that has so much bioavailable creatine in it already.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't believe in supplementing creatine. I'm not somebody that's really went down that rabbit hole to study that. It's not something that I personally take, though.
Yeah.
So I don't take any supplements. I mean, unless you're going to consider, like I said, the Boulder Salt or just the standard salt that I use in my diet as a supplementation.
Wow. Awesome. Fantastic. What inspired you to launch the Carniboard? Where did this idea come from?
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, I've been on the carnivore diet now for a long time. Funny enough, even prior to being on the carnivore diet, amongst my groups of friends and family members, whenever we'd get together and, cook a bunch of beef and whatnot, it always seemed like we were always just eating off of cutting boards anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started the carnivore diet, I just kind of adopted the ritual of eating on a cutting board for every single meal. So that obviously became something that was a big part of my lifestyle. And, I've got a couple, cheaper Amazon cutting boards or Chinese made cutting boards and things like that here, but I always wanted a really nice, heavy duty American made cutting board.
Yeah.
And, in searching for those, I mean, you can find awesome stuff. There's tons of people that kind of handcraft cutting boards or do custom stuff for people. And there's a wide range of price points in the high quality, heavy duty, butcher block American style cutting boards out there. And you could spend, $300, $400, $500, $600 very easily on a cutting board. So I just thought it would be cool if somebody made a product that was specifically for our community, that kind of represented the lifestyle and stuff, and that could be a part of, every carnivore's daily routine. So that's why I started it. And it was important to me that the product was American made. It was pretty challenging to find, a good manufacturing partner, but we're very fortunate to have a good manufacturing partner up in Ohio, where these things are actually assembled and crafted.
Cool.
So it's been a cool journey.
Right on. Yeah. This one that I'm holding here is what I've been using since Christmas. It was a gift that my brother, he's in the Air Force, he made it for me, and it's so similar to the one that to your guys's. I mean, like he even routed it and everything. Your guys's looks like it's like commercial grade though. Like, I mean, like it could restaurants could use it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I wanted it to be a serious product. I wanted it to be heavy duty. Most of the people that I talked to when I was giving them the dimensions and stuff like this, as far as what I wanted, were, telling me, well, that's quite a bit thicker than most people would want for a product like this. And I just kind of stuck to my guns, and I really like the product. I mean, it's something that I use every single day. This right here is actually my personal. I mean, I've had this one for 8 months or so now. I use it at least once a day.
It looks like it's brand new.
Well. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. The routed edges. That's a dumb question, but that just keeps all the juices from falling off. Right?
Yeah. So there's a couple things that, I mean, it's the product itself is a cutting board, right? Like how revolutionary is that? Not very
Yeah.
revolutionary. It's a cutting board, but I did put quite a bit of thought into a couple things with it as far as carnivore specific stuff. So it was important to me that the cutting board was left completely raw and unfinished. Like most cutting boards that you'll find out there are going to have some sort of stains, sealants, or some sort of coating on them, right? And I personally am very conscious and I'm very strict with what my food interacts with. So I wanted it to be just raw wood. So the surface of the board is completely raw. It's unfinished. And then the juice groove on this thing is probably the deepest juice groove that you'll find on any cutting board currently available. I mean, it's
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a canyon, man. So like I've been putting like salt shakers in it on the side, like when if we like when I move around the house and stuff, and like you can put your utensils on, like you can fit a knife in there, and so it doesn't like fall off of it. Like it's freaking cool, man.
yeah.
So
I don't know how many times I've pulled a steak or a big piece of meat off the grill and put it on another cutting board that I would have had, and just walking from the grill back into the house have spilled juices and stuff all over the place. But that doesn't happen with this cutting board because of that juice group that's on it.
Yeah. The tagline "Death to Dishes" I think is brilliant, man. It's hilarious. It's really cute. It's seriously been saving me a lot of time with my dishes just these last few days that I've been using it, right? And so I mean, like it's practical. In terms of washing it, I've just been running really hot water over it and then scrubbing it with soap and water. I mean, like, and it seems to I guess get clean faster than the rest of my dishes, right? Like anything cast iron, I'm always scrubbing the heck out of it, and I still use cast iron, but I mean, it's drastically reduced the amount of time that I'm just doing kind of mindless stuff like that. So here again, it's just one more thing that's making me more productive throughout the day. I have a little more time at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I mean, obviously, you're still going to have to wash this. You're going to wash your knives or whatever. So you're still going to be doing some level of dishes. But the thing that I noticed when I started eating all my meals off the cutting board is that, I have a modern day dishwasher here in the house, but I rarely use it because I don't have, plates and forks and stuff like that. Like I eat with my hands normally. And I know that, you kind of talked about some different intuitive eating or some different ways of eating that are pretty interesting. So I kind of am in that same way. I use a big knife to cut up my meat, and then I just eat with my hands. So I literally just wash my knife and my cutting board, and then that's all I've got as far as dishes. So
hell yeah, man, that's pretty much how I do it too. Like in terms of utensils, like if I'm kind of in a place like coaching wise and like with my diet where I want to put more thought into what I'm eating or just be more intuitive with what I'm eating, changing your utensil, right? Changing your hands. And so like if you usually eat right-handed, well, eat left-handed. What drives me nuts is when I see people eating and like not even putting thought into what they eat or like talking while they're eating. My son, man, like he'll be playing and running around the house and like while eating, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute. But I think eventually at some point at some point in life, personally, I like to have every bite like almost kind of liquefied before I eat it, and then it's just amazing how you really don't have to track calories, you don't have to track macros. You become so much more in tune with your body when you're doing it that way. But yeah, like if you usually eat right-handed, something as simple as changing it to your left hand, or if you don't normally eat with chopsticks, then eat with chopsticks. I think chopsticks are awesome. I actually really enjoy them personally. But yeah, I think my favorite knife that I'm using right now at the moment is probably the Ulu. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but this thing is awesome. Have you never heard of an Ulu?
no, I'll have to look that up. So I'm all about it. I mean, is it a big?
No, man. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back with it.
Okay.
Yeah, man. This so here's what it looks like, and if you're listening, you'll have to use your imagination. But my client Angela, these pro cards behind me. These are that's her pro card and my pro card actually. She got hers shortly before I did, and so when we met in Phoenix, she gave this thing to me as a gift. And I was like, what the heck is it? Like, is it a knife? Is it, yeah, man, like it's kind of everything. So it was invented by Native Americans, from what I understand, by the Indian tribes that are in they're in Alaska. What are they called?
Inuits.
The Inuits.
Right?
Sorry,
Inuits.
yeah, right. Okay, it was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, but it's like you can kind of use it as a spoon. You can kind of use it as a fork. You can use it for like anything. I think it was invented for skinning seals actually, but like they use them to sew, and so it's kind of like it's like a Swiss Army knife, right? But in terms of like cutting meat and doing a good job and slicing right through it, I can cut meat with this faster than pretty much anything else because of the way that it's shaped. So all it takes is me putting just like a little bit of my body weight on it, and then just going like that, and just like flick of a wrist, man. So like we use it for like cutting cheese, cutting sausages, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I just kind of like to use it for everything. So I figured, you being a minimalist like I am, you'd probably appreciate that. ULU.
ULU.
Yeah, it's like a thing.
No, I'll check it out. I mean, my family
You got to get
members,
yourself one of these.
For holidays and birthdays, they always buy me, different large cleavers and different knives and stuff like that, because I go through them quick, and I'm too lazy to sharpen them. So.
Yeah, for sure. It's also like nicer, and if excuse me, it's smaller, and so if you have like kids around and stuff, then like it's like safer. So nobody's gonna get stabbed with it. So
how many kids do you have?
I have a 5-year-old, no, excuse me, a 6-year-old young man and a 5-year-old little girl.
Yeah, and they're carnivores as well?
Pretty much, man. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, like we're all carnivores because we're humans, right? But to answer, yeah, sorry for being a smart ass, but yeah, to answer your question, they do follow a diet that is pretty similar to mine, but not near as strict. My wife is ketovore, so she'll have like lettuce wraps here and there and very minimal amounts of veg, but keto bricks. But she's pretty ancestral in terms of her lifestyle and everything that she does too. So
that's
our
awesome.
kids just following the example. Yeah, I mean, they're told at school that fruits and vegetables are healthy, and we politely correct them on the facts within our house. And so when they're at school, it's like, whatever, like they're exposed to that kind of stuff. I don't want them to be sheltered. And so, yeah, if there's candy, like there's snacks and stuff, they can have it. And if it's ever something that gets out of hand, then, or like seems like it's becoming too much of a habit, then mom and I, kind of put our feet down. So
absolutely. Is that something that you kind of led the charge on in the family, starting the carnivore diet and everything like that? Or
yeah, my wife is awesome. She's been supportive of everything. And so like when I went paleo, she kind of went paleo and has just always been health minded and wanting to eat healthy, but like me, just kind of never had a clue what was right and wrong. So like when we both let's see, couple years after getting married, we just drank a little bit too much beer and weren't really like as active and playing hockey like we were in college and everything. And so we both just kind of wanted to put more thought into what we were eating. And it's like, you read one book and it says that meat's bad for you, you read another book and it says plants are bad for you, and it's like everybody, like the vegetarian diet was kind of the popular thing at the time. And then when I heard about the carnivore diet, I just got really curious about it. And so halfway through, I've done I think 15 or 16 bodybuilding shows now, getting ready for my next one. And so after after trying a couple different types of dieting methods, mainly calories in, calories out, and using that whole model, doing lots of cardio to burn calories, and thinking about it completely differently than the way that you and I think about our diet right now, right? But yeah, I mean, she and I both saw a lot of weight loss when we were doing that. I guess at the start of when we started taking our health journey seriously, and then here again, just as my bodybuilding journey developed, I just started realizing that I feel better and better, and look better. I'm able to have more muscle mass, maintain a leaner physique. I never get fat in the off seasons, right? So I'm able to maintain sub 10% body fat year round effortlessly, and I'm never hungry. And before, it would like cause me to have an eating disorder just to get in a horrible relationship with food, just to get down to 10% body fat in the first place. So I don't have that problem anymore. And my wife gained a pretty decent amount of weight on both of her pregnancies. They're both pretty tough on her body. And right now I think she's happier with how she looks than before her pregnancies.
No, that's awesome. And I guess the main reason why I was asking that is because it's cool how, one person, kind of committing to a certain diet or lifestyle and how that can impact, your family members, your friends, that sort of thing. So, because I have a very similar, kind of experience with my family. So I started the carnivore diet, like we talked a little over 4 years or so ago. And my father, just hit his 1 year anniversary on the carnivore diet. So he started the carnivore diet in January of 2024 for World Carnivore Month. And then both my, long-term girlfriend, we've been together for 12, 13 years or so now. She eats more of like an animal-based diet. So she does include some fruits and stuff like that into her diet. And my brother does the same thing. So, and prior to me kind of going down this journey, I don't think that was ever even a consideration in their minds, but they've seen, some of the improvements in my health, and obviously they're exposed to this lifestyle on a daily basis, and I think that I've certainly had an impact on them. And then it's even had a bigger ripple effect than that, because I even hear my father talk about some of his friends that are experimenting with carnivore and that sort of stuff. So it's cool. The community is definitely growing.
It's growing everywhere, man. Like scary, actually, because it was completely socially unacceptable about 5 years ago, and now it's getting really popular. And I think the biggest thing the carnivore diet has going for it right now is all of the new studies that are not even new studies, but studies that have been around forever that never got any traction about statins and about cholesterol and about heart disease. And now people are realizing that if you follow an ancestral way of eating properly, even if your cholesterol does go up, it probably should, and it's probably a good thing. We call it steroids for natural bodybuilders. It's a precursor to all the hormones that you need.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I mean, I have no idea what my cholesterol would be or my blood work or anything like that, but I know that I feel a great deal better physically, mentally, all that sort of stuff now than I did, 5-6 years ago. So that's enough for me.
Yeah. Cool. Caring for your carniboard. Like how should I take care of this thing so it lasts a long time, man?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're already, doing it. I mean, you just clean it after every use. I recommend that you sit it on the edge, one of the edges to dry, right? Don't leave it flat on a table like this.
Yep. Been doing that.
Rest it on an edge to air dry, beyond whatever you get done with the towel as far as towel drying it.
I usually like put something like a knife or or like a pen or a dead cat or something on one side so that I'm just kidding.
There you go.
So it does so it dries properly. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then I think you probably got the care card that we send out with it. For people that are concerned with sealing it in some sort of way, if somebody wants to use mineral oil or some sort of cutting board sealant, that's their own prerogative. It's not something that I personally would mess around with.
Looks like you could probably stain it too, like possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever somebody wants to do with it,
you can put something like that on it.
More power to them.
Yeah.
But as far as what we recommend, if you want to put some sort of sealant on the surface of the board, especially like where your food's going to be, we found that beef tallow works pretty well. So you can just take some raw beef tallow and kind of massage it into the wood, and that'll give you a little bit of an additional layer of kind of hydrophobic protection, from like the moisture intrusion and stuff like that. Sweet. But the wood that we use
on a whole bunch of meat prep, and we have tallow right now, so I might just do that right after we're done.
Yeah, And the wood that we use for this, it's it's hard white maple, so it's naturally kind of
Oh, that's what I was
water
going to ask.
resistant.
What kind of wood it is? Okay.
Yeah, it's hard white maple. It's sourced in the Appalachian Mountains. So again, the materials sourced here in the U.S. The boards are crafted here in the U.S. But the wood's pretty cool. It's like I said, it's water resistant. It's antimicrobial. It's all the stuff that you want for something that's going to come in contact with your food.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. My wife like didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what it was when it showed up because my client Daniel he bought this for me as a gift, man. So just like nicest guy ever, dude, such a cool guy. And so I guess for those listening, I'm not an influencer. I'm already affiliated with Keto Brick and Keto Pro and Carnivore bars, and so like I kind of don't want to be the guy that's just like has an Instagram profile with like a zillion different things on it. You know what I mean? But he's an influencer, and so I think if our listeners want a good deal on it, he has a discount code that we can use, right?
Daniel, yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's one of our customers. He's posts this thing all the time. I believe his discount code is Daniel10, which will get you 10% off. So.
Hell yeah! Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks for working with him, man. He's just one of the coolest guys ever, and the pictures that he takes too. My photography game has definitely improved since he and I have been working together. So cool. Well, good stuff. The wood burning on the side, is that wood burning? Is that what that is? Like, are these like handmade, or is there an assembly line?
These are all laser engraved. All the logos on the board are laser engraved.
Oh, cool. Because it just looks like straight up wood burning, man.
Yeah, like, I mean, I wanted the logo.
It looks artistic and like there's an exceptional amount of craftsmanship that goes into this, and so that's why I asked.
Yeah, when we designed the logo, we wanted it to look primal and kind of like cave cave art, that sort of thing.
Yep, cool. Merchandise, everything, Carniboards, basically everything's on your guys' website, right? You guys' merchandise is awesome too. Cool website.
Yeah, everything can be found at the.carnivorecutie.com. We do T-shirts and there's a couple stickers and stuff like that. But I mean, the main product is the cutting board itself. So
yeah, good stuff. A lot of our listeners, a lot of people that I work with are entrepreneurs, and so you use Shopify, right?
Yeah, it's a Shopify website.
I use Shopify too. You happy with them?
Yeah, it's the first website that I've ever messed around with or put together.
Me too. I just haven't found the need to use anything else. They kind of like
pretty easy.
Track your inventory, kind of do everything there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, cool. Where are you most active on social media? Mainly just Instagram. Any big events that coming up or anything that you'd like to mention or promote? Or
yes. So the only social media account that we currently have that's associated with the business is the Instagram account, which is the Carniboard on Instagram, and we post different videos and stuff like that on there, and kind of interact with the community. As far as events, there is a high likelihood that we're going to do something. Just kind of depends on to what degree with the Beef Roundup, which is up in Wyoming. Are you familiar with the Beef Roundup?
Oh, you know what? I'm not, but I should be, because that's just a rock's throw away from from here. If it's in Wyoming, I'm just a little bit north of Wyoming in Montana, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so Riverton, Wyoming, they've done it for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years now, I think. I was just talking to the gentleman that organizes the event a couple of weeks ago. But it's basically just a big meat celebration. It's called the Beef Roundup. And they have, ranches and beef producers from all over the nation that, bring their beef in to this small town in Riverton, Wyoming. And they have this huge kind of meat festival. It's also an extremely carnivore-friendly environment. Yeah. And
yeah, wow. Like I'm thinking about trying to get there as like a keynote speaker or like bring my bass or something, man. Like, heck yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Reach out to those guys over there. So they they've got this big event. I think it's August 23rd and 24th.
I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, if you have a link handy, send it to me. And if not, like I'll find it. But this sounds like something my whole family would like.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the dates again?
We're August 23rd and 24th, I believe is. You're gonna have to now double check them. This is their event, so I think that's when he told me that the event is scheduled for this year. And they'll have meat judging and just all kinds of cool stuff that people in this community would probably enjoy. And I think they have somewhere around 3,000.
That might be the. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone because that might be the date that I'm hosting a bodybuilding show in Seattle, actually. And so that if my weekend's open, I'll be there. But okay, cool. We're checking it out though. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for telling me about it. Well, cool. So you're, let's see, probably a couple hours away from having your one and only meal of the day. What's on your menu today, man?
I will be eating. I've got 2 ribeyes that I'll sit out here shortly and kind of let them rest and get up to room temperature before I grill them, and some mulled on salt. I'm a huge fan of mulled on salt.
Mulled? Oh, heck yeah, man!
You know what mulled on salt is?
Yeah, so in terms of minerals, I think it's pretty damn good. I think it's pretty close to like Celtic sea salt and like all your other sea salts, and like it's got your magnesium and everything because it's a fresh sea salt. That's better than like this is good. This is awesome. This is Redmond, right? But
I use Redmond.
Yeah. It's good, but still, like I think that Malden and any of this those fresh sea salts you're typically better with. But yeah, like those giant crystals. Oh my God. Those are definitely my favorite texture when it comes to salts.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'll be eating, a couple ribeyes, maybe 1.5 pound each. I always cook over charcoal, so I'll grill those bad boys up and just be drinking some spring water. So
yeah, that's
what's on the menu.
Awesome. Elk steak tonight here, baby, on a carnivore.
There you go. Is that do you hunt, or is that something that you purchase?
Do I hunt? I shoot deer. Hunting. My family hunts. They hunt for trophies, and they hunt for like they're actual hunters, like respectable hunters. Meat, like they're not as much of a fan of like the wild game meats as I am. So I have a lot of cool friends and a lot of cool people that I know that do hunt that I happen to write workout plans for or whatever. Exchange, because it's totally illegal to sell meat. Apparently, I didn't realize that. But yeah, so in terms of like me actually killing animals, when I have the time, which is not very often, the last couple years, I've shot a couple deer with my AR-15 and gym shoes and like my gym clothes. Yeah. But I'm just a fan of game meat because when you compare it to beef, it has it beat on every single mineral profile. Everything, man. You got better fat. You got a better omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. You got more zinc. Basically everything that you're going to a red meat diet in the first place, if you upgrade from domestic, like store-bought meats, particularly beef, and you're going for wild game meats or like even lamb, especially lamb, you'll get better results out of it. And so the last time that I did the lion diet, I made it about this long, and this is just kind of the one time where I just don't want to get off of it anytime. So I'm like, I could do this for another couple months. Like I love it. Yeah, no desire to put eggs back in or butter or anything personally.
There you go.
Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Between now and episode 319, remember this, 1 Corinthians 6:19. Do you not know that your body is a sanctuary of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God? Also, make sure that you are subscribed to our award-winning deep dive nutrition channel called Carnivore Coach's Corner. You can find my legendary co-host Richard Anthony Smith, the UK's top nutritionist as seen on TV, and I on the same platform that you are listening to now, whether it's Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever. Couple more things before we sign off. Podcast review is from Susie Banuelos from California in response to episode 312. Help, carbohydrate addiction, oxalate crystals, and electrolyte imbalances with Edward Goicki. She says, what a great show. Edward is an amazing, knowledgeable, and down-to-earth person. I was interested in the electrolytes portion mainly, and heart palpitations, too much potassium and sea salt, so I've cut it down to almost zilch. I've been on carnivore for about 4 years, and recently I've been getting feet and shin cramps, so I started using Redmond electrolytes, and it's been helping a lot. Thanks a lot, Susie, for writing in on your Spotify app. God bless you. Really appreciate that. Athlete Spotlight of the Week is actually Yiann from France. She completed a 74-hour fast this week. Fasting is way easier when you're on carnivore, if you're not aware of that. Personally, I've always hated fasting in the past. Some of my worst memories of contest prep actually is before I was on the carnivore diet and trying to white knuckle fast. The last few months, I've completed a handful of 48-hour fasts, no problem whatsoever. But Yiann has definitely set the bar higher for all of us. I don't know if I ever have a desire to go 74 hours. We'll see. But she's been working with us for a few months now and is a total sweetheart. So you should definitely follow her on Instagram if you are there. It is at YIANNSTEVENSC. Thanks again for the support and ratings and reviews all. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, I'd be honored to earn your business, whether that's starting with the free one-on-one phone call or by any of the links in the descriptions of this podcast. Keto bricks, sea salts, skull-themed workout equipment. We've got a bunch of new stuff coming out there. Animal-based skincare, lots more. And don't forget CARNIVORE, all right? Code Daniel10 is what you want for that. TheCarnivorecutie.com. God bless everybody. Thanks a lot, and we'll catch you later on episode 319.